Blowing everyone's mind just a few months ago, Capcom announced they were remastering the Ace Attorney Investigations duology, a spin-off game series starring everyone's favorite prosecutor and unnecessary feelings haver, Miles Edgeworth. This was a huge deal, because while the first game was brought to the West, the sequel never was officially. Instead, you had to rely upon an extremely well-beloved fan translation in order to get the finale, which many die-hard Ace Attorney fans consider one of the best in the entire franchise. And hey, we make a lot of Ace Attorney content on this channel. So I got to preview the game, and while I only had time to play through the first case, I've got a lot of good things to say so far. First thing you're going to notice when starting up the game, and a factor that has played heavily into the marketing of it so far, is the updated HD visuals. Now, I saw some people saying this looked like a mobile gacha game version of Edgeworth and Gumshoe, but after playing for like 5 minutes, I was all in on this art style. It looks really fluid and cute, and walking around these spaces you're investigating is really nice. I'm a big fan. One minor knock I'll give the game is the included pixel art versions of the characters. This isn't me complaining about the way they look, I actually love the pixel art, but in order to switch the style, you'll have to go all the way back to the title screen. And all of the character models and conversations are still the HD versions, so it kinda makes the pixel art feel a little out of place with the rest of the game. This is such a minor complaint, since it does feel like this game was made to play in the HD style, and they added the pixel art as a bonus. But I know some folks are going to care about this, so I thought I'd mention it. The next thing I'd like to talk about is the gameplay. Now, obviously, you're not playing as a defense attorney, but instead as Miles Edgeworth, who is notably a prosecutor. Now, this has been memed a million times, but Miles doesn't get fancy magic or supernatural powers to help solve his cases. Instead, he gets to use logic, which boils down to a new minigame where you compare two pieces of evidence you have and notice interactions between them, in order to realize a bigger piece of the puzzle. Like I said, I've only played the first case so far, but this mechanic was really nice and fresh, coming off of playing every other game in the series except for Spirit of Justice. And the visuals for everything have that nice Ace Attorney flair, with all the title cards for segments, Edgeworth's face flashing on the screen like he's a Fire Emblem character about to do a lethal crit.
Objection!
And of course, the music. Ace Attorney music doesn't miss, and this game is no exception. The biggest thing I want to shout out is the dialogue. Like I just mentioned, we're currently about to finish Dual Destinies and have played Apollo Justice and Great Ace Attorney right before this, so it's been literal years since we've seen these two together, and doggam have I missed Gumshoe and Edgeworth's interactions. And this game has it in spades. Gumshoe is so incredibly earnest with how much he looks up to Edgeworth, even mentioning that he comes in on his day off to clean his office. And Edgeworth just turns around and says that he values him based on his income, which isn't much. That's so brutal, man. And so far, at least, there seems to be tons of callback jokes to the original trilogy, which these games take place chronologically right after, and hey, everyone knows that most Ace Attorney fans really have so much nostalgia for that original trilogy. So if you're one of those folks, I think you're really going to enjoy some of these jokes. Now, I know the first game typically doesn't have the highest rating by the fandom as a whole, however, I know that the sequel, which is also included in this package, is listed as one of the best games in the entire franchise by a bunch of people. And while I've only played the first case in the first game, I'm very excited for this fresh take on the gameplay that also appeals to the strong nostalgia of the original trilogy. And I'm very excited to stream this with our actual lawyer Pridge and our voice acting extraordinaire Wes coming very soon. But let me know how excited you are for this remake in the comments down below, and if there's any more questions you have about the game, I will try to answer them as best I can. But you're all the best, and take care.